Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us today in person or on Zoom. I am Alexa Smith, and I am with the Office of International Programs. I'm the Educational and Exchange Events Program Manager, and I want to thank you for coming to Foundations of Global Health in conjunction with the International Orthopedic Trauma Collaborative. Just a little bit about Foundations of Global Health. Global health is an area for study, research, and practice that places a priority on improving health and achieving equity in health for all people worldwide. Global health emphasizes transnational health issues, determinants, and solutions, involves many disciplines within and beyond the health sciences, and promotes interdisciplinary collaboration, and is a synthesis of population-based prevention with individual-level clinical care. And that is from the Consortium of Universities for Global Health. Global health is a varied and rich discipline to which many healthcare providers, researchers, and faculty aspire to being professionally engaged. With our being a globally connected world, this ongoing programming through the Office of International Programs is designed to feature those in our KUMC community engaged in the field of global health, KUMC's faculty, researchers, and clinicians, our international partners, and our community partners. Presenters will share their personal journeys, educational backgrounds, mentors, books and articles that gave inspiration, challenges, lessons learned, successes, epiphanies, life-changing moments, and even the heartbreaks. The series is meant to provide a platform for both presenters and participants to participate in conversations while developing foundational knowledge and exploring best practices for engagement in the discipline of global health. Believe it or not, we are back a week from today with the next presentation in our series, which will be on the 4th, right back here in Beller. And if you aren't aware, Dr. Archie Headings is the person behind all of the IOTC happenings. Dr. Headings is a practicing orthopedic surgeon in the University of Kansas Health System. He's also director of an international orthopedic trauma fellowship that focuses on alleviating disparities in trauma care throughout Africa. And today's focus is on Trauma, the New Epidemic, a film by Bakr Hamada and Matt Jacobson. And I don't know who's coming up to introduce this part, but I promise you it's not me, because you're tired of hearing my voice.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bakr Hamada. So I'm one of the directors on this project. Me and Matt Jacobson, who was my professor a couple years ago in the KU film program. And I kind of started as a PA on this, and it's kind of grown quite a bit. But this is a synopsis. It's on everyone's table if you're attending in person, but if you're on Zoom, this is just a quick brief synopsis. But I don't really want to read this because I kind of want to just get into the documentary and, let everything introduce itself. So. Nothing's moving. All right, so that was the documentary. If you're on Zoom, I'm going to leave the link open, so feel free to watch it on your own time and finish it up. So we recently just started pushing this through festivals, Uplift Film Festival being our first. You kind of start small and you build your way up. And at that festival, if you want this thing to be big, it has to do well. So we got the award we were looking for, Best Documentary Short. And regarding festivals, our next festival that we're pushing towards is KC Film Fest International, which will be in late March. But this project really has been developing throughout this process of reviewing it and showing it to people. And it's interesting to see more people watch it because you see them have reactions kind of at similar moments, like when Dr. Abbey and Dr. Headings are back in Ethiopia and they're greeting each other. Um, and another big moment that we got from when we watched it was when they were cutting the screws. It was a really cool feeling to see a lot of people go like, whoa, 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 in the theater. So that was really awesome. But anyways, I don't want to talk too much right now, so I'd rather kind of get into the Q&A. But something else real quick, we got featured on KU News, which was really cool, and a couple in a paper in the Joplin Globe. So it's really cool to see all this media kind of start to come. But do we have any questions regarding like the purpose, what we're doing with it? Whatever.
Hi, I'm Rovely. I'm a part of the African Trauma Initiative and the team that has helped build this, but I think this is a question that probably is helpful for the audience overall, but what's the purpose of creating this documentary?
So initially, I started, this project was in a completely different thing, when we first started working on this documentary, but it's kind of grown into something bigger. Like all of the marketing and media from this project became the marketing department for the International Orthopedic Trauma Collaborative. So our main purpose of this isn't necessarily to, describe what our plan is, what our solution is. It's more so to just raise awareness to, the general lay audience. We initially had this cut was at an hour and 20 minutes before we shortened it down. But it was very technical and, it was trying to say, this is how we're going to fix things. It was talking about the hospital build and all of this. But the main purpose of this is really just to raise awareness and tell people, this story.
And from my standpoint, by the way, I cannot thank Bacher and Matt Jacobson enough, but if you want to know what I'm thinking as a physician in this documentary, the purpose of it is, if you take any medical problem, which the most recent I can think of, it's HIV, which was a really big, epidemic that was killing a lot of people in Zambia, where one of our fellows is at. HIV was responsible for killing 1 out of 3 people in Zambia. The medical community was not able to overcome that epidemic until awareness was raised. And so if you want, and this is an epidemic, right? It's the major killer, particularly of people younger than 40 years of age. But in African countries, it's a major killer for, overall in certain countries. So we can't win this without awareness. And we need the power of a university, if you think about it, to do it. By the way, I just have a good, if this doesn't make you proud to be KU, I don't know what does. I mean, KU is doing this. So this is the work of KU students. But so we needed artists' help. Film and media, is that
Whatever
under
you
the
wanna call
arts?
it.
We needed somebody like Bacher and Matt Jacobson to come on board and take this technical problem and put it in a way that everybody can understand it and make them aware. And we're really trying to kick this off to get people aware, to raise awareness about it, to help fight this epidemic. So that's the point of it from my standpoint.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like you said, raising awareness is probably the first thing you want to do before, people even want to start fundraising and donating towards something like this. People need to know what's going on. And as you kind of talked about with HIV, AIDS, malaria, the awareness raised beforehand was a big reason why we were able to solve some of those problems. I think the big stat is the 5.6 million people a year. I think when the general public knows that, it's just like, wow, I can't believe this many people die a year from something like this. So, the big goal from my end was trying to simplify this thing. We have like 10 terabytes of footage, like hundreds of hours of interviews, and it was really hard to get it to even that place. But, I would even say this is kind of still a work in progress in many ways. As we do these screenings, we learn a lot from the feedback we get, and we improve the project. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Otis. I'm also part of this project. We were like a lot of us were in front of the camera, but we weren't behind the camera, so we don't get to see what your experience was. And so I just wanted to ask, like, when you were filming this, what was some of the most meaningful things to you, and what were some of the most difficult things for you to capture the gravity of the issues that we're dealing with there? Because that's a different art than what we're used to.
Yeah, so this was my first project out of college. You know, I got some awards as an undergrad student, but nothing, I've never done a project as big as this. So initially, I actually started as a like student PA. My older brother Karam was on the project as well, so it kind of worked out perfectly for me. And honestly, the moment that really made me motivated to do all of this and take a step up was when we went overseas to Ethiopia. And it wasn't about like being behind a camera. It was the same feeling that everyone had who was there, whether they were filming or not. Just seeing that and seeing what the people have to live through and what normal is when it comes to trauma care is wild, and it makes you really grateful about what you have here. So the big thing I wanted was for this film to kind of take someone who hasn't been there and get that same perspective that we got, get that same kind of emotional feeling that we got. And we have had some really emotional reactions based on where we've screened it, and I think that's kind of what I want to see. I want people to feel how we felt when we were there. Being a film student, someone who doesn't even have a medical background, it's still wow, it was a shock. um Matt, do you want to talk about any of this? I know you're on Zoom.
Well, I honestly, I wish I could be there. Unfortunately, when this got moved from January to February, it actually, first off, can everybody hear me?
Yes, everyone can hear you. You sound great.
Excellent. Yeah, when this got moved from January to February, unfortunately, I'm back in my position as a professor in film and media studies at the University of Kansas, and I literally just finished my basic video production class. Um, no, this was a great project to work on. This project for me started back in February of 2022 when I got an email from Dr. Headings um, asking if, I knew of anybody who'd want to get involved in a project like this. And we talked on the phone for almost 2 hours. And at the end of it, I was solidly on board. And I knew that I had students that would really want to go out and work on a project like this, and including Backer. But so many other students that worked on this project with us in 2022, when we were primarily filming there at KU Med, and then in 2023 when we went to Ethiopia for a week. But yeah, I think the point behind this documentary is, like Archie and Backer already said, this is an informational video. It's the point behind this video is to let people know that there's this problem that exists, that orthopedic trauma is on the rise and is a serious problem in underserved and developing countries, and that it's something that people here in the developing world have whether willingly or unwillingly, wittingly or unwittingly, we have a role to play in that crisis, in that epidemic of orthopedic trauma. And so, the point behind the documentary is to show people, yeah, there's this problem. Yes, you actually have a role in it, whether you mean to or not. And then to say, this is how one group of people are suggesting that we can solve this problem. And it is really just informational. It's more to get out there the idea that, we need to solve these problems, and we're doing that, in this collaborative project between KU and KU Med, And in this case, with the African Trauma Initiative. Um, Although it is kind of funny because IOTC directly came out of our trip to Ethiopia. A lot of the groundwork for the IOTC was actually laid on that Ethiopia trip. A lot of discussions were made and a lot of choices were made. And one of the biggest ones was the idea that we were going to use social media to, really push the informational concepts of the IOTC and ATI. So we ended up repurposing a lot of our documentary footage into social media posts that Backer has been putting up since, the fall of 2023. He's done some incredible posts. We have, a large number of people following us on Instagram, on, all of our social media outlets. And that's just been invaluable towards helping to push people towards becoming an audience for the documentary in much the same way that the documentary is going to be reaching out to people who might not necessarily know a lot about social media, but then they're going to get pushed towards our social media side. And in both cases, we're leaving open the option for people to help us in whatever way they see fit.
Yeah, I think a big part of the social media push and just in general with this documentary, it's really, if raising awareness is our main approach, this isn't something that we're trying to keep exclusive. I think with this documentary, the next big thing we're looking at doing is trying to screen it in as many places across the country as we can. And social media has been huge. We have around 25,000 followers on TikTok. I think on Instagram, we're nearing 1,000. We finally had a video start to go viral with like 250,000 views, just millions and millions of views. And, I've talked to Dr. Beza, who wanted to be here. And, this stuff has like, I think maybe like 70% of our audience, I have a graphic of it, is from Ethiopia. So when we're making content, it's actually having a big effect on Ethiopian healthcare. So, there's a lot of important people in Ethiopia watching our stuff. So it has been really important. It's helped us build connections, and, it's really amazing what we can do without even fully releasing this documentary. We've been able to do quite a bit. And something else Matt said was kind of we have students working from the KU film side on this. We have KU medical students, architecture, rural students, business students. And this documentary and this project has been kind of a way, like I used to work at KU marketing, and there's always been this thing where KU medical center and KU marketing don't ever work together. They're like separate things. But I think this project is one of the first things I've seen bridge the gap. And like once we had the article come out a couple weeks ago on KU's page, my marketing boss reached out to me. He said he's never seen, KU do something like this in a long time. So I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, just the underlying story of, making the medical center and all of the different schools, work together to do something big. So, yeah. Any other questions?
In the film, and also as you guys have talked, it sounds like you're like maybe way down the road vision is for them to be self-sustaining. So like what are the steps that you guys see as necessary to like realize that goal and vision?
I feel like Dr. Heading should answer that question. He'd probably give a better answer.
There's a lot. The first is training, because they don't have the facilities, they don't have the equipment, they can't learn to do state-of-the-art, surgery because it's just not there. So we bring them here so they can train on it. And then while they're here, we work with them to see what technology we can get there that they can use, and whether that be in their existing hospital or in the case of Ethiopia, we're trying to obtain a new facility for them. So, and that is where our School of Architecture has got involved in helping us redesign and repurpose some hospitals that are currently there to turn them into a trauma center. And that's our biggest project to date. And then our business team, which some of them come from the KU School of Business, our business team has projected some models in terms of profitability and things like that. And what we're finding out is this, and this is something that's being kicked around all over the place. when you're talking about global health disparities, the one area where there's a global health disparity that we're really having trouble with it is global health disparities with respect to surgical care. Trauma is a surgical disease. There is no surgical equivalent of a vaccination campaign or mosquito netting, like to fight malaria, right? These are easy interventions that can be used to treat medical illness. But when it comes to treating surgical disease, what you need is a highly skilled surgical team with state-of-the-art equipment and a well-designed facility. Getting that into a low-income country is difficult. Is it feasible? I think it is. Why do I say that? Because I think there's other models of this. Where, if you look at international airports have certain standards that they have to abide by in order to be considered an airport. And you can travel to airports all around the world, and these standards are met. And whether it be the global community that's putting into these, systems, or, the government, they're able to maintain this standard so you can safely travel to these areas. The same, I think, should be achieved with hospitals. They should be seen as a benefit to the public, to the world. And so what we're doing is just first trying to get these systems in place and hopefully have humanitarian and faith-based organizations kick in some money to help, make up for what the governments can't pay for. And then as the economy continues to develop in Africa, hopefully they'll be able to, be self-sustaining at some point. They're not there yet, but the thing is, people are dying now. We need to treat them now, right? And so that's why we're building this now.
Yep. Really good. Is there anything else that we want to talk about?
Matt, Bacher, I cannot thank you guys enough. You're heroes in my mind. Thanks for having a heart and a passion for people you didn't even know when I first spoke with you, people that were suffering and dying unnecessarily. And the point of this project is to save and change lives. And you just hopped on board and put your whole heart into it. I cannot thank you enough for all the work you've done.
We appreciate it. It's really easy when you have a great story to tell around great people. So everyone here at KU is amazing. So I think that's been the best part of it. So, yeah.
And Dr. Headings, it has been a pleasure. It has been a joy working with everyone associated with this project. Again, as Backer said, it's so easy to work on a project when you realize that you are making an incredible difference in people's lives, people that you don't know, people that you may never meet, but there are people whose lives are going to be improved immeasurably. And all we have to do is just get this story out there.
What a great way to end.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. If you,
Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
Yep, Rock Chalk. If anyone wants to learn more, or just you can just look up traumacentral.org, and feel free to reach out to me as well at marketing@traumacentral.org. If you have any ideas, you want to help raise awareness in any way, feel free to reach out to me. I'm your contact. So thank you guys.
We've also got a QR code too.
Yes.
Go ahead and put that up.
I don't know how to do that. Do you want
Thanks, Matt.
to here?
Thank you.
There we go.
Thanks, everybody. Ravali, you look great up there. Yeah. Nice meeting you guys.